Morning. Yeah, I'll be quick here. I have, five-ish minutes, so I'll try to catch up on time. I know we're going over, but I wanted to take a few minutes to introduce myself, my firm, and some of the solutions, and as well as give you guys some insights into what we're seeing in the current employment environment. Everyone can see my screen. Marty, you can see?
Yes, looks great.
Perfect. All right. So my name is Jenny Souksavath. I'm COO, co-founder of Aspen HR. I've been servicing asset management firms and supporting portfolio company growth for over the last 15 years. I started my career in KPMG's investment management practice in the early 2000s, formerly known as Rothstein Cass. And then wedged in there, I was also VP within the financial services vertical at a large public PEO called Trinet. During my time at both firms, I really started to understand what it took to service these asset management firms and support their investments. Hands down, it's the highest level of service, accuracy, and quality. There was a clear lack partners in this employment management space that did this really well, which is why I launched Aspen HR in 2017. To really fill that void in the HR and PEO industry. So since 2017, we've grown 75 to 85% top line revenue year over year, with the highest industry client retention rates that you'd see across the board. So I wanted to create an answer for companies really seeking the highest caliber of support and employee benefits. And it's especially important in today's precarious environment, the tightening labor markets. You talked a lot about the inflation impacts over the past day or so, and just we're also coming off the heels of what we're calling the Great Resignation, right? So I did a presentation actually yesterday for a different a hedge fund association, and I stole some of the data points, and I was going to share with you guys today. So if you look over the last 12 months, it really has been one of the most competitive markets we've ever seen. We're hearing from our clients that people are leaving, right? Or that they are recruiting at a 20 to 30% more than what they were currently getting paid. Huge uptick and increases. You can see it in the data here, especially huge increases in the voluntary resignations. It's not all compensation related, but you can't really ignore that piece and the impact that it may have on companies' bottom lines going forward. So we knew that there was going to be a large increase in 2022, but that was really to address the competitive market. But that doesn't really even factor in inflation. So what does that mean for us in the next 12 months? You'll see some higher profile companies, on the bottom left, Meta, they're going to be slowing down a lot of their hiring. On the other side of the spectrum, you see the Microsofts, tackling inflation by nearly doubling their budget for employee salaries, boosting stock grants to retain employees. So it's a very different world, because if you can remember in 2008, 2009, I was, barely starting my career. And it was a very different environment going into a recession. We had companies were panicking, zero bonus pools, layoffs. You saw the salary freezes. And people were much more hesitant to leave their jobs. So this, again, really improves the importance of finding that right partner to help contain the overhead cost and retain and attract the talent in today's environment. And I wanted to lastly just talk through our Alliance program. We find that many of the Portco and incubated companies that we work with really struggle to find the operational resources. So, giving them access to the aligned vendor products, the relevant reporting, and that human capital support. So we designed a program to help support that growth. We've seen a lot of growth with some of the clients that we've helped our VCPE firms incubate over the years. Some of them growing 200, 300% are now some of our largest clients. But if you across our entire book, we're seeing close to about, in aggregate, about a 20% organic growth since the last 24 months, which is incredible given the pandemic and the current volatility in the market. But again, shows the importance of really having those right partners. But it's not, a one size fit all program, and we're open to many ways to forge a relationship that's built on mutual success. So really, I just wanted to take those few minutes, and my contact information is here. If you want to reach out to myself or my partner, Cassandra, who leads our growth initiatives, She was actually in New York. I think it was just last month at the IvyFON event. And then it was really nice meeting everyone at dinner last night. Much needed break from my mom duties. Just I had 2 kids during the pandemic. So look forward to more IvyFON events and getting out there and getting to know you guys throughout the rest of the day.
Jenny, great. I just have a quick question. How are you do you guys handle like offers or things like that? Or because
Yeah.
I mean, you hear about all the turmoil right now in the tech industry with, people, who are getting offers or having they're rescinded, companies letting people go. And does your firm have like any kind of outplacement as well, or?
We don't do any type of like recruiting, I guess, if that's what you're asking, but we do handle the compliance piece of the onboardings and the offboardings that are related to the turmoil. Yes.
And so, I know that especially like if you're like a startup hedge fund or a startup, private equity firm, venture capital, tech firm where, people are coming from Google and starting up,
Yep.
what are the, what kind of, implied savings are there of what you're doing for them, where people have expectations, they're going to get white glove treatment. What kind of savings are there?
Yeah, well, that's really hard to actually talk through because it really just depends on circumstances, and geographic location plays a big part in what we're benchmarking against. But startups are generally our bread and butter. We work with a lot of emerging managers and startup high growth companies. Typically what we're seeing is at least a 20 to 30% savings if you are to go out and try to kind of piece everything together in-house, go to open market, right? Kind of doing that route. Versus a more turnkey scalable solution. And so we've done a ton of case studies around this, and generally that's the number that we're seeing.